Look at you, Sugar Plum. Did you miss out on PulseChain Sacrifice and PulseX Sacrifice? And you don't want to buy Hex beforehand? You are now dealing with the friend zone. There is a friendship strategy for you. We're going to go through the details and analysis of what you can do. We don't know the future, but we can try. And the first thing that's going to strike you is there is a Pepe here giving flowers to signify that Pepe is in the friend zone. Because you got to understand, you're fighting at a disadvantage. That doesn't mean you can't succeed. It just means you have to get this right. You have less room for error. Because the baby doll baby cakes who are in love with the ecosystem, we sacrificed in 2021. But now that you've missed out, you've got to pay attention. I've already made a video showing you what I've done. Now, my choice, it can go to zero. We can go negative numbers. It can all be over. But my choice was everything I had deployed, I put it into Hex. I've already sacrificed for PulseChain and PulseX, and I've just allocated the rest into Hex. A lot of people, some of you message me, you've got like, you got like 10 grand you want to buy, you don't know what to do. And I said, well, you can't go wrong if you put half into Hex and half USDC, just leaving on the stablecoin to buy. You can't go wrong doing that. Then you're going to get the best of both worlds. Personally, I just go all into Hex, and I made this video from months and months ago. But if you are in that camp and you absolutely want to keep money on the sidelines, you got to know these numbers. Ricardo Corazon, the friend of Greg from the pond, who flaps his wings and quacks, modeled PulseChain, PLS, after Ethereum. Sometimes spooky things happen, and you might find that the ghosts of someone else comes back as a poltergeist. And maybe in crypto, we might see one of these ghosts appear in the form of a similarity where PulseChain repeats the price action of Ethereum. It's because, right, we'll go through this. When Ricardo, friend of Greg, made Hex, he modeled it after Bitcoin. So a lot of us are trying to see, are there patterns? Can we get a bit of the ghosts of Bitcoin in the Hex price action? So keep an eye out for it. It's not a guarantee. Keep your eye out. Now, Ethereum bottomed 90 days after launch. Hex bottomed out 33 days. And here I am making you the friendship video strategy. So you're going to look at this now. We're going to go see this. So let's go through the Hex. So Hex, we have the plain chart here. But before we have a look at Hex, I want you to look at the Ethereum ICO here. The Ethereum ICO was for 31 cents. Now it stops here. You can't see this. This is about 42 cents. See this little candle here? This is a weekly chart. I'm probably going to have to show you how painful it was if it lets me get the data, because weekly charts, you kind of get a bit excited with how fast time seems to be, because this is what it really looked like. You know what, baby dolls? Let's put it on a linear chart so you can really see what you had to sit through in Ethereum at the start. By the way, this is what Ethereum looked like. All right, welcome. This is Ethereum right here. So Ethereum up $3, 10x first day. And then see you later. A lot of people sold this, by the way. I wonder what they're thinking about themselves right now. I wonder what's gone through their heads, the people who sold at $3 thinking like, woohoo, 10x. Then watching it go to $1,000, 300x higher, and then eventually $3,000, knowing that, wow. So you're going to see this take some time to rinse everyone out to hit the bottom. About 90 days from when it launched, etc., 80, 90 days. But this is the tough part. It's the going down part is very tough, but then this is the next part, because you're going to have to count this time too. So I don't like doing this. By the way, you see this part? This is what also makes it hard. This part, you might see, oh, everything's coming back, but you got to live it day by day. You don't know that it's going to keep going. So you are still in pain if you're offside. So really, this is the time management we want to see for Ethereum. From the launch, this is just what you got to know this, right? You got to know this. If you want a DCA buy, I don't make the rules here. Oh, wow, that sucks. 6 months? Oh, man, I hope we don't get that. Oh, I hope we don't get that, man. That'll suck cookies if that happens. But hey, that can happen. What if we open at a premium and then we drop down for 3 months, then we recover for 3 months? That's possible. So You're looking at 6 months. So, but it took 90 days to hit the bottom. So keep that in mind, 90 days. So you already know you have an anchor point. You think, okay, well, if Ethereum took 90 days to reach its bottom, you probably think, all right, well, I'm going to DCA buy into PulseChain for the first 30 to 90 days until it approaches near the sacrifice price. Then you just start getting in more aggressive. So this is actually what you'd be looking at. So you're going to buy at the end of the week. So look at this. It's funny. If you waited just for the end of the week, say for Ethereum to open, you actually have to buy it at like down here, like 70 cents, which is funny. Only 2x above the ICO. All the people buying at the start are paying 10x. You're just going to have to DCA, and you're going to have to wonder why it's not. This might happen, by the way. We're going to have to wonder why it's not pumping. The volume's not there. What's going on? But I want you to know the truth. I've been saying this for a long time. You can go back, find my tweets from 2022. I've been saying when PulseChain launches, if I was a duck named Greg and you would pet me every day and I swim in a little pond, I want you to know the only way for us to pump is a sufficient rinsing of the hands after the open. I know this is going to hurt to hear. I know you want us to pump and gap up 10, 20, 30x and keep going. I want that more than you. I'm just telling you, I don't make the rules here, man. This is just how it is. This is just what we see. What we see is you need a sufficient rinsing of hands. You need a lot of people get out. A lot. Once they're out, we've removed the fat, then we can fly. I don't know how long it's going to take. And, you got to remember, friends, this is Ethereum, man. This isn't just some coin out there. This is like the reason why we're all here pretty much after Bitcoin. So this isn't like, don't look at this and go, oh, well, we're going to do better than them. I hope we do. But this was the unicorn. Like this actually went, it's not imagination. This actually did a 4,500x in one cycle from the ICO. Everyone, not like a fake print or anything. Everyone in the ICO got a 4,500x. Every single person. There was none of this adoption amplifier, weird stuff, price going down. Everyone's got a different measurement. Like this was the unicorn. And it still had to spend this time rinsing. You're going to be surprised too, friends. I just wanted to let you know the level of the rinsing you might have to enjoy in PulseChain. Around here, Vitalik sold like 200,000 Ethereum for like $1. Something ridiculously low. And he collected his money. He's like, yeah, well, he basically just like collected his money to live. And I think he sold more at like $7 around up here. So this is crazy. So this is just to let you know, this is what we're in for. And if you're going to buy, you're probably just going to have to say, hey, I've got, let's say you want to put in $5,000. Okay. At the end of the first week, you're going to put in $1,000. And then every week after, 1K. You're not going to time it perfectly. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, you're taking a punt. You might split it from, instead of doing 5 parts, you might do 10 parts once every week. And then you might say, hey, when we approach, if we approach the sacrifice ICO, we might not ever get there. Then you might say, hey, I'll just finish off the rest of my clip. But it's better to stick to a system because I've noticed many people get scared and they don't know what they're doing. And I promise you when I say this, it's better just to swallow it and buy at the end of the first week most of the time than try to time stuff. Because when people try to time stuff, I've noticed, this is true, many people time themselves out of a freaking opportunity to change their life. Because they're like, no, why buy 2x when I can buy at a discount to the ICO? And they screw it up every single freaking time. And now that they've trained themselves to click buttons like a little monkey. When it starts moving around, they try to play with it more and more and more. Now you have a situation where you fondled your soap in the shower. So this part you could say is irrelevant. You just got to get in, man. You got to get in. But for the rest of us already in, well, everyone's going to have some time to get out. So to get in and get out at the same time. So this goes for PulseChain and PulseX. You're going to have to DCA buy if Ethereum is the anchor and it's to work out. But I want you to know, he is Hexy Boy. Little Hexy, let's say how long it took to form its low. It was about 33 days. You look at it, formed its low around here, 20, 30 days. Look at this. But you're going to have to, I just want you to know as well, from the Uniswap launch, you've got to basically count this whole thing because you never really go on side until 90 days, 100 days really. Let's go look at this. Like this is where it starts to get exciting. which you're now at 100 days. When does it actually start? Like, okay, here's the euphoria. Here's like the thrill starting. 120 days. Yeah, so this kind of tells me we're going to have, I mean, if Ethereum, you had 6 months to pump, to accumulate your position. With Hex, you had 4 months. Like, this is nuts. But this is like, when we're looking at this, man, this pump up here is only 60% above that day one Uniswap listing. By the way, this flag is not a random position. This flag is the first price of Hex. So people bought on this flag. This was the day one of the adoption amplifier. So this is not a mistake to have this flag here. This is where they got in. And yes, you want me to see how much they went down? 98%. So that's the reality of it. I put this in a tweet here, and I want you to know, because you're a baby doll baby cake, we're going to go through this. So you want to know, right? You have your strategy. As you say, okay, you now know we might have to be waiting for 3 to 6 months to clear the zone of the weakness. This could be anything. We could go from break even day one sack up to 10x back to break even. It can do that range, or it can go offside. I don't like that scenario. Like, we go up, say, 3x, and then we dump to minus 50% below day one stack. I don't like that scenario either, but that's also a possibility. Anything can happen. You don't know the ranges. All I know is, I keep telling you, you're buying the depression still in the euphoria. Well, we're nowhere near euphoria. Euphoria is not going to come probably till 2024, 2025, probably deep in 2025. Probably. You need Ethereum above $8,000. We're nowhere near the targets. We haven't even started approaching the launch. Right, so don't worry about the target. So you got to be in this for the long haul. That's it. I have this chart here I created specifically for you. Because you're a yummy, scrumptious cookie, I want to prepare our expectations for PulseChain and PulseX. So whether you're DCAing or you're already in like us, you got literally not a single penny left to put in, I want you to know there are 3 different ways you can measure Hex's returns. And before I start this, I want you to have this in mind. So why did I make this? I'm here to share with you. I have a scenario, controversial. You might not like this scenario, but I don't care. You come to me, like, subscribe, bell button, or you listen for the truth. We're all baby doll, baby cake friends here. I'm telling you, I have a scenario in my head where Richard Hart, Ricardo himself, he gets to brag and post his big charts, and we get disappointed. I have that scenario in my head. I'm going to go through it all, but I want you to think about that. So you're thinking, your friend Somi here is telling you there is a scenario where the chart can look good, but everyone else gets disappointed. And I'm not making this up. I want you to see this. And by the way, disappointment means 1,000x for you. That's what disappointment means, because I'm not even, if PulseChain and PulseX go up 10x each, I'm over the moon, baby. Obviously, I'm not selling, but I'm very excited. I'm very excited at 3x, man. Give me a 3x on those. Woo! Like, I'm very excited already. So the people who only put in a couple of hundred, who want the 1,000x, 10,000x, that's where I want you to know this scenario does exist. So we're going to look at this. So the day one sacrifice, right, it's going to be equal to one of these events, and we don't know what it is. Now, you can measure Hex's return from the day one amplifier, which was on my flag. And if you do that to the very, very, very top, you think of it's cycle 1, it's the very top. We had everything going for it in 2020 and 2021, all the money printing, everything. You put all of that together. Day one amplifier, guys, got 151x. Now, you will say they got 30% more coins for staking. That's true. That's true. So you might add that. And you got the staking yield. So that is very, very true. So you might even say it's a 200x, which I'd like to restate here, just to be fair. That is possible, and you don't have to like game it or be uniquely intelligent to do anything different. This is just easy. Click a button, that's it. You stake through, you get the yield. And you can do it short term. You can do short term rolling over stakes. So that is one potential point you can measure. The second point you can measure is the first day Hex listed on Uniswap. This first day to the top is a 2000x. But this wasn't like everyone who's a believer. This is just hitting the free market. So, of course, you might lean towards, hey, PulseChain and PulseX day one listing. Yeah, but you're not in from here. Like, you're already in. The adoption amplifier people, you're already in. You and me, we're in this together. So this did 2070x, but once again, the free big payday coins plus 30% and some yield as well. You know, this could actually be closer to like, let's do a conservative like 2700x. Man, that's beautiful, by the way. That's absolutely beautiful to do that. 2700x. So what about the absolute bottom? The absolute bottom gave a 10,000x. If you measure hex from the absolute bottom to the top, you get 10,000x. Now, where are we on PulseChain and PulseX? We don't know. We can only speculate. I'm here to ask you. What do you think? What do you think is going to place us for PulseChain, PulseX on this chart? Are we the degens who did day one adoption amplifier? I can't call them degens because they've been waiting 2 years for hex. It finally comes out, and then you basically get rinsed in this. You go 98% offside when you think like that, all right? So I want you to also please know this. Like, I get a lot of flack from people who say, no, the big whales will never let their position go down. Like, it's not up to those people, all right? It's up to the network effect. If the network effect is decaying, if a big guy just wants to cash out for a loss, you can't do anything. You just got to soak it up. You're not really in control in the short term as much as you think. So hopefully in the long term, we go through it, but we're already in. It's already been put in. It's very hard to measure this from each point and assign a probability, but what we can do is hope. Obviously, what do we want to do? We're going to say to me, oh, we're from the bottom because no one can get in day one sacrifice. Well, you want that, don't you? So do I. You want that 10,000x, and so do I. So think about this going forward and where you think you'd be. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't even really matter what you think. It really matters where you sell. And that's it. How long you hold for. Not even really how you sell, how long you hold for. That's the most important part. And remember, I said to you, where did this all come from? It's because I said to you, yes, you are a baby doll, baby cake, but there is this scenario where Richard Hart gets to brag about the price chart, and we only get disappointed if you're expecting those thousands of X's. What I mean. Now, I really, really hope, fingers crossed, my 100 to 200X estimates are conservative. I hope they are for PulseChain and PulseX. Man, I want them to go much higher. But it is possible where we launch, but this is what happens. You see, there's a big fat green candle at the start. I'm actually going to show you the perfect example, baby dolls, Solana. If you've seen the coin of Solana launched like this. You can actually see its market cap here. Solana, at the very, very, very start, had a snipe listing, bang. Now, I wasn't around. It was April 2020, looking around this, had no idea where it even launched, but I just want you to know this is possible. You couldn't get this. You could not get Solana here at 5 million market cap, most likely, but this is what the chart would look like if you did that. So I want to show you the full proper chart because there's gaps in this one. We'll find a very, very professional final version of Solana. Here we go. This is a perfect example I'm talking about. Wouldn't this be nice, by the way? How much time is that to rinse? 111 days. There you go, friends. Like, oh man, like you're seeing this. I hate to say it, but like if you just had Hex, it needed 120 days. You had Ethereum needed like 4 to 6 months, which is 120 to 180 days. Now Solana to rinse and start finally going back to the top of that range, you need 108 days, 3 to 4 months again. So you're going to have time to DCA, most likely. But if you were to measure this chart, and I did this, I actually have the chart here for you, and I'm going to find it. And it is right here. So Solana, if you measure from that very bottom to the top, Solana did 13,877x. And as well, I have to say, as soon as I put this, some people said, hey, but there was fake SBF, FTX buying. Yes, but it doesn't matter. You don't know that. Fake, real, doesn't matter. It went up. What are you going to do back in chart? Say, no, it wouldn't have happened because of some reason. You can't say that. The chart's a chart. It did this. So we just have to appreciate it. Now, when I saw this, I got a bit scared. You know why? Because if you go to my profile in Twitter and you go to my targets, I have Solana here. I made 108x in it. 108x. And I was like, what? It went 13,000. So as you develop and you get more wise and you remain a peanut brain with me, you'll realize that your returns, you are a function of the biggest possible return. You are always a fraction of that. You're never, ever, most likely, most of the time, like if something goes, if you make like a 20x, it's really because that asset you're in, that crypto asset you're in, someone in there made 200x. Someone from the very, very, very beginning. Even though you think, wow, 20x is great, I made it. You start to learn this. But you are a fraction of what the potential really was. You're not like a big chunk most of the time. You're literally just a tiny piece. And see, Solana, I had 108x until I saw this chart. I was like, oh, okay. That's where my 108x came from because this was like crazy. Now, I was buying up here. I want you to know, look at this log chart. Do you think I was late or early? I mean, you'd think, look, I bought up here. Look at this difference. I bought up here to get the 100x. And if I bought obviously lower at the start, it was 10,000x. But you couldn't. This is what I'm telling you. The chart still says 13,877x. I just did it. It got sniped on the start. So I'm here to let you know it's possible PulseChain does a similar chart to Solana. This might be PulseChain, PulseX chart. And this is where we're going with this. Okay, I don't want this to happen, but this is possible. See, this chart, if you measure it, you go, wow, okay, look at this. When they list it, you can do this and you can't argue against it. They can list PulseChain very, very cheap. Near zero, you can provide liquidity for like $100. You basically just give someone $100. So effectively, you give someone the first 100x to our break even. So they basically give it away at 99% away. With $100, someone makes the print. Could be a bot, could be someone. They're up 100x. And now we continue. And why I'm relaying this to you. To the top here, you got a 13,000x. But from you don't get this super, super, super cheap price, right? Remember, this would be the equivalent here. It'd be here for us in a day one sacrifice. You get like 135x. So this is why I'm just relaying this to you. This scenario is possible. I don't want it to happen. I want us to get a straight 1000x from day one sacrifice. Yeah, I want that. But you just got to accept this path in your mind. There's a chance to this. There's a chance that PulseChain goes 150x. There's a chance PulseX goes 50x, 80x, 100x. And I'm very happy, very, very happy. And other people are happy, but you might not be. Because I already see on my Twitter, a lot of people are saying this. And I do agree. A lot of people say, hey, man, if Richard Hart's coins do anything less than like a 500x for PulseChain and PulseX, it's a complete failure. It would be disappointing and shameful. They've said that. And I'll say, no, it's not. No, it's not a failure at all. Okay, firstly, we're lucky to even get 3 times our money. I'm not even joking. You're lucky to get triple your money. And secondly, 100x is life-changing, man. 100x, please, can I just, 30x is life-changing, friends. If you invest 0.5 years of your income, which is 6 months, and you got even a 30x, you get 15 years of income. You can freaking retire. What are you talking about? 100x is shameful, right? If you got even a 90x on you invested 6 months, dude, you got 45 years of income. You literally, you're not even 100x yet. So I just want you to get grounded to reality. If you think 100x sucks, then you're not long enough. But also, there are people long enough who still think 100x sucks. And this is where I will calmly, kindly say to you, sometimes it's not about me or you. It's about the crowd out there. It's outside of our control. Because I use this example, and I really do mean this from the bottom of my heart. What do you think was going through the minds of the intelligent Bitcoin maxis and believers up the top here. Do you think they were like happy that it never hit 100K? How many times did you hear we're better than gold, digital gold, or flip gold, Bitcoin spot ETF? You heard all of these things. These were not coming from just people randomly guessing. These are people with huge bags. I want you to also think about this. What do you think was going through their minds when Bitcoin broke 20K down here? I know what was going through their minds. One of the Bitcoin maxis, a kind gentleman named Dan Held, he had a private convo or some Twitter somewhere. No, actually, I now remember. It was a comment section. Somewhere from years ago, up in 2021, someone said to him, hey man, in a bear market, can Bitcoin go below 20K? He actually said back in there, he said, we shouldn't go below 20K because that would be like very like, I forgot what the word he used, almost like shameful, disgusting. That would be very bad price action. Look, that would be like extremely depressing bad. And guess what happened? We went to 20K and we broke it. This is a guy who bought Bitcoin in 2012, 2013. He's probably got 1,000 plus Bitcoin. And he's a very smart man. He's one of those Bitcoin maxis where he's like, look, I love Bitcoin, Bitcoin only, but if you indulge in other things, that's okay. I believe in free, open and stuff. He's a very, very neutral, independent guy in the middle guy. For him to say that, I was like, ugh. Just to show you, man, just to show you. Everyone's smiley and friendly and happy, but sometimes it's not about me or you and what we want. At the end of the day, I want you to know. Think about this scenario in your head. So now you've seen the different scenarios. Now you know you have a strategy here. I've talked to you like, hey, what do you do if you can't buy PulseChain? Immediately, you're going to DCA buy. You know it's in for 3 to 6 months. And you might also say, hey, how aggressive do you want to be? Well, it depends because I'm telling you, please don't put in such a small amount thinking, Ricardo's got such a big ego. He's never going to let this do less than 1,000x. Okay. Don't think that because I've just given you a scenario where he can still brag. Yes, he can. Don't think he can't. He can still do what he loves best in this scenario. Now, once again, I've got to reiterate, I am long more than you can possibly imagine. All right, all my friends and family, we're going to get excommunicated from freaking my country, Australia, if this doesn't work out, right? Maybe the president of Australia is in too, all right? So just to let you know. So it's not like we're sending our kind blessings here, but you just got to be truthful with yourself, all right? I've already shown you this. Hey, yeah, Solana, I thought I killed it. I did 100x. It actually went 13,000, and you can still brag about this chart. That can happen with our bags in PulseChain and PulseX. So just prepare for that. So how do you really prepare? Well, some people, they're like, hey, this is what I've seen one person do this. Please don't do this, man. Some person went, hey, I put in $100 because 10,000x makes me $1 million. I'll say, well, God bless you, man. Look, if you really believe that, then I hope it happens. I really hope it happens. You deserve to hold the whole way if that happens. But I want to reiterate to you, sometimes it's not about what you want or I want. It's the crowd. It's the cycle. Is there enough money? Is there a government going to come in? Are they going to stop the cycle? Are they going to do something else? There's all these uncertainties. My ultimate dream for you, and remember, I'm not getting paid anything from you except one ETH and one friendship. I'm telling you now, my ultimate dream for you is to come back and tell me in the future and go, hey, my baby doll, baby cake friend who loves drinking pulp from the orange juice bottle, thank you for convincing me to not have little breadcrumbs down here DCAing. Thank you for convincing me to put a nice big fat sandwich worth. That will put the biggest smile on my face. And I'm smiling right now because we're friends. Tell mum and dad that you love them. I'll catch you next time.